And then I have a couple of announcements after this, but I hope that you guys have, found one that you enjoy and would like to present to one of your halls at some point this year. And then if you have any other questions on the information on one of the presentations, go ahead and ask us. If you have something that you can add to them, that's why it's an ongoing process. We have the Committee on Education. These are developing because new information is always coming out. But this is what we have to share with our fellow Aggies as of now. Our final presentation for the night is going to be food inequality and injustice. And yes, we have a lot on food, but that is a major thing that we can control as students at A&M, is what we're eating and how we're going about eating these things. So again, we define sustainability for people who don't have a full understanding of what that is. You've heard it. I hope you internalized it, know it, feel it, live it. We're going to move on for tonight though. We went through this food supply chain. It is the same as it was before. Nothing changed between now and last time you saw me up here. So what we're going to be focusing on this time is mostly on the production end and who is producing the foods that we're eating and how that is going on. So to say it lightly, this does not benefit everybody. The way that food is produced is not an equal playing field. There's two prominent ways that this is true. One is transgressions against humanitarianism, the way that people who grow our food are treated, how much they're paid, and the living conditions that they're in. And then there's also inefficient and unequal allocation of the food. So where that food is being placed all over the world, and who has access to healthy and nutritious food. Whenever we say humanitarianism, we mean the promotion of human welfare. In places this doesn't occur. So at the source, we have unethical treatment of workers. So there's people in tropical plantations that are still basically treated very, very poorly for the food that we consume, like coffee and chocolate, palm oil, even bananas. And then the workers in those areas are exploited for dangerous labor at minimum compensation, so they do not live well. And a very small percentage of what is made from selling the food at the market goes back to them. In these types of environments, child labor is very common. My dad was a migrant worker in potato fields, and that was in America, on the West Coast, and that there was a big movement about that with Mexican labor workers in the 60s, I believe, even the 70s. But it happens even in America, but especially in these tropical areas. And workers are treated like nothing. They're expendable. They have a high turnover because the workforce is so rigorous and labor intensive. And there's lots of loopholes in legislation to allow their benefits to just go out the window because they don't have representation a lot of the time. They're not documented, or they just don't have the education to be represented in those higher levels. So union action is often almost not, it's seemingly non-existent because it's repressed a lot of the time with force. And I guess on that note, actually, let me go back because I don't want to miss anything. It's really important. Outsourcing doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but capitalism is generally emphasized to maximize like gains at the lowest cost possible at their expense. So usually this happens in developing countries, and we have the power to allocate our funds in different areas that do not do that. This doesn't happen everywhere, which is nice to know because we control where our dollar goes. And then on another note, as a reference to the food empowerment projects discussion on economic data for plantation crops, and I quote, "There's increases in profits for banana producing companies that are not reflected in the wages of plantation workers who are estimated to receive a mere 1 to 3% of a banana's retail value." Bananas are cheap as is, but they don't receive much in return of that, from that. So that's wrong. And then on another note, there's many people who will just deny that this is happening and keep on getting those really cheap foods, right? But there's plenty of data out there that suggests and proves otherwise that this is actually an issue. So whenever you are presenting to people and they're skeptical of it, just try to be understanding of what their ideas are and their predisposition of how things happen in the world, and be as respectful as you can, because this is one, obviously there's a lot of injustices that are being presented, and people can get a little upset by that because they don't like knowing those types of things, that they're hurting other people with the purchases that they're making. So that's just something to know whenever you're going out in the dorms and presenting all that. But at the receiving end, there is unequal distribution of the food. So we have these things called food deserts, where I guess may one of you read it to me because it's on the slide. What a food desert is. Cool.
Food deserts can be described as geographic areas where residents' access to affordable, healthy food options is restricted or non-existent due to the absence of grocery stores within convenient traveling distance.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Very open access to fast food and corner convenience stores rather than well-stocked supermarkets.
Yeah, so I guess on the other end of my family, just to have an anecdote in there, my mom lived in Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico, which did not have very many healthy options whenever she was a child. So they basically ate rice, beans, and convenient, non-perishable foods, and grew up not nourished very well. So this happens pretty close to us, even in places like in Texas, middle of nowhere Texas. But in these types of areas, the healthier food increase with price, and the less healthy alternatives are cheaper. So low-income people just feel like they have no other choice a lot of the time. And that compounds in the long run to malnourishment because they felt like they had no other option. Yeah, so I guess food for thought is that part of the problem is how the US government in North America industry classification system, or NAICS, is it categorizes retail outlets that sell food. So according to NAICS code, small corner grocery stores are statistically lumped together with supermarkets such as Safeway, Whole Foods, etc. In other words, a community with no supermarket and 2 corner stores that offer liquor and food would be counted as having 2 retail food outlets, even though the food offered may be extremely limited and consist of mainly junk food. So if you were in a community that had just like a gas station and a Brookshire's, if you're like in a place that's like even small enough to have one of those, that is considered equivalent to a place that has a Walmart and a Target, even though they're drastically different types of locations, and there's different options there. So that's why it happened in places close to us. But there are things that you can do, and like types of food that you can go out and consume, that even though they're more expensive, they're fair, and they treat the people that, you know, create that food decently, and feed them, treat them, like pay them well. So the fair trade movement is meant to provide better trading situations for the producers, and like especially the people that usually don't have that otherwise. So they give more leverage to address the social and environmental sustainability concerns that have been true for a very long time. So into September 2011, Fair Trade USA announced its registration from the International Fair Trade System, which is a big step for us, you know. A good day, September 11th, I don't know which day, but hoorah. We reduced transparency and understanding of the way that we're treating the people who are making our products. And different divisions of fair trade commerce are becoming independent entities. So you'll see different like labels, but they all, you know, they're all encompassing of this idea of the fair trade movement, which is a good thing. It's a wonderful thing, really. We also have the Food Empowerment Project, which, may somebody read this block of text to me, please? Anybody? Can you see the screen and read it? Yes. Thank you.
The Food Empowerment Project's goal is to raise awareness about how our food choices can change the world. By making ethical food choices, we can make a difference and take a stand against abuses. FEP encourages people to use their individual choices to eat with their ethics and use their collective voices to help bring about positive change.
Thank you. So, topics focus on a comprehensive look at sustainability in the sector, such as, you know, what we understand as sustainability to be, the social, economic, and environmental impacts. Excuse me. So, socially, obviously, we're doing our best to reduce the worker exploitation and geographic exclusion, such as, you know, those food deserts that we mentioned and learned about. And then we also have the management of funding and effects from class separation in terms of the economic battle that's taking place. And then also the depletion of natural resources, scaling pollution and animal welfare, and concerns to the environmental sustainability aspect. So things that you can do locally to reduce the amount of inequality that you are causing is to volunteer at the 12th Can. They have a bare minimum of 5 hours a semester as a commitment, but that's a location where we have a pantry that's open to students and faculty that are in need of food because they can't afford it. And it's open during the first and third Wednesday and Thursday of our month. It's a very cool project we have going on campus. We also have Howdy Farm, which is at 5 p.m. on Sundays on West Campus. So, you can go over there and come over here. They promote organic, sustainable, and environmentally responsible farming methods. And they get to eat the food at their meetings sometimes, which is super cool. Last week, I think they made lemongrass tea with lemongrass that they grew. And it's just really nice to see farm to plate right there. And then we also have Brazos Valley Food Bank, because we have more people in College Station and Bryan than just on campus. So this is a resource that's available to everybody in the Brazos Valley for food whenever they can't make it on their own. So go check that out and volunteer with them if you have the time, because it's cool. Then you can also buy from companies that maintain local practices. So look for that fair trade label whenever you're going out and really need chocolate, because you gotta treat yourself sometimes. And then utilize online resources if you don't want to go to the store and just stand there for hours reading the labels. But the FEP has an extensive list of chocolate products, so you can just know exactly what you need as soon as you get there. But we have the address if people ask, in the notes as well, of these locations. So thank you for listening. All right, a couple of reminders is that Sustainability Month is coming up on October 1st, y'all, so get hyped. We'll go into detail about exactly what the points mean whenever you're going out and volunteering this upcoming month for things like Project Clean Plate and Stream Clean. But that is something that, oh my gosh, be headed your way very soon, so stay tuned. Also, make sure that you sign in at the end with Shelby so that we don't send you the survey and you don't have to watch this all over again. Y'all's time is valuable. Before you go with Christiana as well. Just basically head on to the back as soon as I'm done, because we have leaves where you can write your definition of sustainability after learning all about it. So we can put that on the little tiny tree over there and make it bloom into fruition. And then also, get excited because we have an office. You, all of you, have an office with us, the Aggie Eco Reps, in Hello Blue 114A, which is at the very end of the hall over here. It's not a closet, it's our office. And we'll be doing office hours there pretty soon, so also be on the lookout for that. Thank y'all so much for coming out tonight, and make sure you sign in. That's why you are accounted for.
If you want to stick around